The new stamp set, You Go Girl by Tammy Mayberry, is a great set for cards of encouragement with a whimsical feel. And today I'm going to show you a simple card sketch with an embellishment that's flat and easy to mail. And it's one you'll want to use over and over again. Let me show you the tools and products you're going to need to do this project. First, you're going to need some cardstock and pattern papers. And I'm using some of the Gina K Designs Innocent Pink cardstock, some of the black onyx cardstock, and then I'm using a couple of the different papers from the new Basic Gray Out of Print collection. And of course, I'm using some of the Gina K Designs Pure Luxury white cardstock as well. Then you're going to need some ink, and I'm using the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I'm also using some Copic markers. You can use any kind of markers, Bic markers, you can use Memento markers, any kind. Or you can do a different coloring technique altogether if you prefer. Then you're going to need some rubber stamps, and I'm using 2 of the rubber stamps from Tammy Mayberry's new You Go Girl set. Now, one of the stamps I've already stamped, and here it is, and I've cut it out just using my paper cutter. I didn't use any special dies or anything, although this stamp set does work with the Spellbinders rectangle dies. But I just used my paper cutter to cut it out, and it cuts really nice and easy. And then I'm going to use one of the greetings from that same set. I also have the Wave Flourish paper punch and a Stamp-A-Majig. And last but not least, some adhesive and my Score Buddy. So to start out, I'm going to score a piece of cardstock, and what I have here is a piece of cardstock that's cut 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, and I'm going to score that at 5 1/2 inches. And I always like to run the scoring tool down the piece of cardstock twice, and then you're going to fold away from that indentation. Then using the side of your scoring tool, just flatten that out nice so you have no crack at all there and you get a nice crisp fold. Then I'm going to create this nice little sketch, and let me show you what I've done here. I've cut a piece of cardstock to 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. And then I've cut this one to be 3 7/8 inches by 5 1/8 inch. And that is just a nice thin little border that goes around the outside there. Isn't that pretty paper? So I'm going to tape that on to that black piece of border. I'm going to tilt it up a little bit because it's hard for me to see it when I'm sitting down. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to take another piece of cardstock, just a little strip in a different color, and I'm going to attach that right over the bottom there, just like that. And I'm going to use some of the Mono Dot adhesive here and attach that on there. Now that is a really simple sketch, but it's a little bit different than just having a plain piece of pattern paper there. It gives it a little bit of interest. Now, taking this stamp design, I'm going to put a little bit of tape on the back and just stick it to my workstation. That won't adhere too long. I can just pull that off and rub that off. I'm going to use my Stamp-A-Majig because I want to line up my greeting perfectly. And you know, I use the Stamp-A-Majig for everything. Even when I'm using clear stamps, I still manage to stamp things not perfectly straight. So the Stamp-A-Majig kind of gives me that peace of mind that it's going to be exactly where I want it to be. So as you can see, I've taken my imaging sheet and I've pressed it up against my Stamp-A-Majig tool, and I'm going to ink up this stamp. And then, placing my block into the corner there, I'm going to just press right down onto the imaging sheet, and now I have my image. Now, I'm going to place that image exactly where I want it, and that looks really good. And then I'm going to replace the tool. Now I can move the imaging sheet away, and I know when I stamp right in the corner of the Stamp-A-Majig, that image is going to be exactly where it was when I laid the imaging sheet down. Nice and straight. And there we go. My next step is to decorate her outfit a little bit. And I love this stamp because it's a simple line art drawing, but it allows for all kinds of different coloring. You can watercolor, you can use markers, you can use chalk pastels, anything you'd like, but it still allows you to make a quick and easy card. There's not a lot of detail to it. So I'm going to start by using N5, which is a neutral, and I'm going to color her yoga pants, her Victoria's Secret yoga pants. That's what all the girls wear, and I know from my own daughters that they come in black and a nice dark gray, so hers are going to be a dark gray. And I like to add a little bit of texture to this when I'm all done coloring it in with a Copic blender pen. And I do that just by running the blender pen just down the legs a little bit, kind of highlighting her hip there. Same thing on this side, just right down the center of her leg a little bit and just kind of go across. It just kind of creates a little texture, kind of like it's been washed a couple of times, like that. For my next step, I'm going to use RV21 to color her top in. And then I'm going to add a little bit of a polka dot texture using a darker pink. Here I have R32, which is a nice peach color. And just by adding a little bit of polka dot here, it just gives this top some really fun texture. Cute. And I'm going to color her skin E00, which is skin white. As you can see, I've already matted this focal image onto a piece of black, and I've matted my little pattern paper piece onto a piece of the innocent pink cardstock. Now my next step is to use the paper punch, and I'm going to punch two different flourishes. The first one I'm going to punch upside down on my piece of pattern paper, my dark piece, and then I'm going to flip it over and punch it right side up for my second piece. And that's going to give me two opposite flourishes. And let me show you this cute little embellishment idea. I'm going to wrap this around here and almost make it look like she's holding on to that flourish there. I'm going to do that just by adding a little bit of tape onto the little ends of the flourish, like that, and then work it around so it's in her hand, like that. Then I'm going to get the other flourish and I'm going to connect them in the back so that the other one is coming down from underneath. I'll show you what I mean. Put a little bit of tape right on the top here. No, actually, let's do it up here. This will be better. We can just rub that off. That's the one nice thing about this dot adhesive is you can rub that right off and it'll come off. Now with a little bit of tape on this flourish, I'm going to tuck that one under there and tuck this one kind of coming off of it like that. And now let me add a little bit of tape. Let's tape this one down too. This one seems to want to come up. We'll tape that one down. And then with a little bit of tape onto my focal image, we're going to attach this whole thing to the card. Put that there. And bring this down a little bit. And there it kind of looks like one big swirling flourish, but that opposite side of the flourish goes onto the black pattern paper, which looks really cool. Let me show you another one I did in turquoise. Kind of the same idea. There's another one. And you can see on this one I put a little bit of makeup on her. She's got a little blue eyeshadow on. But I did the same kind of thing using the black flourish at the top and the turquoise pattern paper flourish at the bottom. So there's two different color combinations of that same sketch. Another fun thing to try is paper piecing the girl's outfit to match one of the pattern papers, or bring in a third pattern. This is a great way to use up smaller scraps of pattern paper while creating a vibrant focal image.